Hey everybody, and welcome to my kitchen. It's Michelle Tam of Nom Nom Paleo, and today, like every Wednesday, I come on live from my kitchen to show you how to cook something. So today, I'm going to be cooking an oldie but goodie from my blog. It's my Vietnamese lemongrass chicken, and I'm actually really surprised that I've never made it on Facebook Live, but I actually remembered why. This is a recipe from 2015. It actually won Paleo Magazine's Best Recipe of the Year, which was very exciting. But I think right after that chicken was posted, my wall oven was broken for several months. And so I think I didn't do any oven recipes.
It was broken.
No, remember it was like propped open and we couldn't shut it. It was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
So today we're going to show you how to make my Vietnamese lemongrass chicken. Lauren, who's the master builder behind the scenes, who just had a birthday, so happy belated birthday, Lauren. He will be answering all the questions that you guys ask, and he'll be typing answers. And then Owen, my older son,
what up?
will be reading questions out loud to me. And then 3 of you who are tuning in to this live broadcast and just happen to ask a question or comment, 3 of you will win the thermos pen. I think it's pronounced Mark IV. So this
cool.
It is the newest and coolest instant read meat thermometer. And I've had thermopens forever. I've had this thermopen, the Mark IV, I think for 2 years. As soon as it came out, I got it. But what's great about it is it's super accurate. It reads temperatures in like 1 to 3 seconds. The little display here will kind of turn to whatever orientation it is. It's backlit, so it senses like how bright it is, and the backlight will come on. My old thermopen, like the classic thermopen, you'd have to open it to like wake it up. But this one just wakes up when you move it, which is pretty cool. So all you have to do is comment. 3 of you will win. They're not a sponsor, but Thermapen is supplying these because they did ask them, like, hey, can you guys supply these to my readers because I love it and it would make a great price. All right, yes, Owen?
So when you're buying lemongrass, do you have to go to a specialty store or can you just get it anywhere?
All right, so this is lemongrass. This is kind of the key ingredient in this recipe. And if you've ever been to a Vietnamese restaurant and had almost any of their grilled products or grilled foods, or even like a stew, like my Boco on my blog, there is lemongrass in it. And lemongrass is this right here. Some people have it growing in your garden, and so you can buy it. I've seen it at like lots of grocery stores, so it doesn't necessarily have to be an Asian grocery store. So Owen has a question. What's your question?
So how much is the Mark IV?
I think it's $99. So 3 of you will win this $99 thermometer, which I love. But I've seen it at Asian markets for really cheap. And then you can definitely get it at kind of more specialty markets. But I've also seen it like Safeway and Whole Foods. It should be kind of in the produce section by the ginger and stuff. But it comes like this. And in this recipe, I asked for a big kind of fat... a big fat stalk of lemongrass. And on my blog, like if you've never used lemongrass before, I have a how to cook with lemongrass tutorial that Lauren can post up, and everything that I kind of mention after I get off this live cooking broadcast, I always paste all of the links there. So I'm going to rinse this really quick because this is a little bit dirty.
Let's see. First of all, how do you choose lemongrass? And does canned or squeeze bottle lemongrass also work?
You know, I've never tried. A lot of people have asked, like, can you use like you can buy minced lemongrass that's already been minced, but I've never bought that because I just have the real stuff. I've heard it works. What I'm going to be mincing is equivalent to 3 tablespoons, so I think you can use like 3 tablespoons of the jarred tube stuff. I know you can also buy it frozen, I think. When I don't see this in, like when I buy extra, I actually keep it in the freezer. So what I'm going to do is I just kind of remove the tough outer pieces. and any pieces that are really kind of discolored. And I say one large one, but you can't really go wrong by adding extra lemongrass. And you kind of cut this tough end, and then you kind of peel away the tough stuff on the outside.
Tough stuff.
Does lemongrass bruise?
Yeah. So you can totally, I'll show you. There's a few different ways. So depending on the recipe you're using, there's 2 different ways to prepare lemongrass, and I'll show you all the different ways. So if you're going to be using it in a marinade, where it's going to be,
lemon.
Yeah, right. And it's like it grows like this, like in the ground. So it's called lemongrass. See, it's amazing, right? It smells good. I love it. Here, you want to smell it? And so if you're going to be using it in a marinade and you're going to be eating it, the way I like to prepare it, and you actually only use about 4 to 5 inches. So just this part at the bottom, because the stuff at the top is actually pretty woody. So the first way I like to use it is I just use a microplane, which is one of my favorite tools, or a rasp grater. And you can just, after you've kind of trimmed off the hard part, you can do this, but watch your fingers, because this is very sharp.
And if you don't have one of those, could you just mince the lemongrass?
Yes, I'll show you how to do that. Here, let me do this part. So I'm just going to hurry and do this, because it can take a little bit of time.
And for the flavor of lemongrass, is it like super intense, or is it kind of mild?
No, it's like lemony, but it's like I don't know how do you describe it? It's not really sharp and acidic like lemon, but it's like herby and lemony. So it's like a combination of lemon and grass, which is why it's called I don't know.
It smells like lemon, but I can't really taste it in chicken because I don't know what it tastes like.
So what's great about using a microplane, and I love to use a microplane also to grate my ginger, especially after it's been frozen. It's really, it also becomes kind of frozen snow. And you can kind of see here, like if the outer edges are kind of like splaying like this, you just kind of peel it off. Dude, are your fingers clean?
Ah!
That's okay. We're going to be, go wash your hands.
And
luckily, this is all going to get roasted.
With lemongrass, can you grate it while it's frozen, like
Yes.
ginger?
Yes, you can totally grate it while it's frozen. In fact, I don't defrost it because I actually think it can make it mushy. Because when you thaw it, it can, as it's thawing, like, because when you freeze it, the cells break, and so it can get kind of mushy. I'm just going to go, and I'm going to show you, I mean, I could keep going, but you basically kind of go until it's really woody. You can see here, it's like really nice and powdery when you use a microplane. But I'll also show you another way I like to do it. So here's another one. I'm going to trim the bottom. I think I already trimmed it, but I'll trim it again. And then you're only going to be using, like, again, 4 to 5 inches. So where it's like, well, it's about right here. And then I use this meat pounder, or you can use like a small cast iron skillet or anything that you can pound. You just smash it. And then, if there's some really tough pieces of the outside, I take them off.
And how do you store the lemongrass?
I keep it wrapped in, a plastic bag and in the fridge. But if I'm not going to use it for a little bit, I will freeze it, and I'll like wrap it really well, and I'll freeze it. And a lot of times I'll kind of just keep, I freeze the whole thing because I don't know exactly what I'm going to use it in. Like if I'm using it in a marinade, I just use the bottom 4 to 5 inches, and if I smash it, you're going to be mincing it against see, this feels really tough to me, so I'm going to check those. But you're going to be mincing it kind of against the grain of the stalk.
Here's a question. Are your counters always that clean? Or
No.
this clean?
Never. In fact, part of the, like these whole Facebook Live things, like they seem all casual, but like I spend all day like cleaning my counter and prepping stuff for it. So that's about like, 3 tablespoons. But another thing, like if you are using lemongrass for a stew or a soup, then this is when you just want it to infuse the flavor, and you're not going to be eating it. You can use more of the stalk, but you still remove kind of the tough outer part.
And for lemongrass, can you freeze it after it's minced?
I think it loses its flavor if you do that. So I would just leave it whole and mince it on demand. But that's just me. All right, so you trim again for this one. And then for this, you kind of smash, 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 smash. And then you kind of just cut it in segments. And also this top part, sometimes people will kind of tie it in a knot. And then they throw this into like a super stew because you're going to be fishing this stuff out. And you don't actually, you just want it to infuse the flavor of your stew or soup, but you don't eat it. So that's just...
Sarah Johnson Larson is going to see you at your book signing next week.
Ooh!
Yay.
So,
should be
that's,
cool.
okay, so I won't actually be here next week for Facebook Live because I'll be traveling, because I will be in New England next week. So if you just go to nomnompaleo.com/events, I have, I think, 5 book signings in New England. I'm going to be in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, Portland, Maine, Lynnfield, Massachusetts, Dedham, Massachusetts, Boston, in the south part at the Ink Block. I think that's right. I'm not really good at
Okay.
Okay, so for those of you just tuning in now, I am making my Vietnamese lemongrass chicken. It's a recipe on my blog. I'm sure Lauren has already posted that link. That's ginger. You won't like that. Okay, so we're going to put together this marinade for this chicken. Do you want to read out loud what it is?
Where?
Hooray, paper.
Well, it says ingredients.
So, 1 cup of, a quarter cup of minced shallots,
Which I have right here.
a large lemongrass, 1 large lemongrass stalk, trimmed and minced for like about 3 tablespoons.
Yes, and so that's what I already did. And you can't really go wrong by adding more lemongrass. You just want to make sure it's really, really minced. And another thing, like, if you don't want to go through all this pain of, like, mincing stuff really carefully, if you have a high-powered blender, you can just throw this all in and blitz it. And it'll totally work. Yes, what's next?
3 minced garlic cloves.
All right. And I actually have, like... You want me to? Do you want to do it?
Could you use like this
Okay.
this garlic thing with lemongrass, or could you use it with like a potato masher or something when you're smashing the lemongrass?
I don't know. Here, I hope you do this one.
And also, what kind of meat pounder thing do you have?
Oh, this is a. It's a Nora Pro. It's my favorite meat pounder. Like, this is the one I use for. It's hard. Come on, use your muscles. Come on.
I don't have any.
Here, I help you. Come on, move your hands.
Says the person who does way more like athletic things than I do.
So this is a Nora Pro. This is the meat pounder I use for crackling chicken to smash it, so it's all one thickness. I love that one. That's like my favorite. And I've tried a bunch of different meat pounders, but this Nora Pro one is my favorite, and I'm sure Lauren has the link that he can put up. Okay, so we've got lemongrass in here. We have some minced shallot in here. We also have garlic cloves. What else do we have?
Half teaspoon of ground ginger. Fresh ginger contains enzyme which will break down the chicken, so don't.
Yes. So this is actually, it's really funny because
You figured this out afterwards.
I figured this out afterwards. For those of you who follow me normally, on my wonton meatballs recipe, I detail like this problem I had with the recipe when I was developing it, because the first time I did it, it tasted delicious and it had a nice bouncy, springy texture. And then the subsequent times that I made the wonton meatballs,
It would melt in your mouth.
yeah, it was gross. And then I realized it's because I put fresh ginger in there, and the fresh ginger contains an enzyme that breaks down protein. And so I used to have fresh ginger in this recipe, and if I just marinated the chicken for like an hour or 2, it was totally fine. But then if I marinated it overnight, it would get like kind of a soft, funny texture, and I just thought it was the lime juice. But then I realized it is the ginger. So anyway, so that's
Gail's,
why I have.
This is exciting. Gail's husband is eating this right now, and he says yum.
Oh, great. All right, so what else goes in here? So ground ginger.
Freshly ground black pepper.
All right, so I say to taste, but you know, you just kind of do
A lot.
a lot. And you want your marinade to taste really salty. Probably saltier than you want your chicken because it will penetrate and it won't taste extra salty. It'll just taste delicious. Okay, what else? Ooh,
Zest from one lime.
all right. So I have a lime right here. Again, I use this microplane.
Oh.
And you just go around. You zest it, but you kind of keep on rotating it because you just want to get the very top layer, which is the zest. And when you do this too deeply and you get into the white part, then it's bitter. So you want to just kind of get the outside with kind of the essential oils and stuff.
One day, will you do the Facebook Live on the scallion pancake things?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Well, as soon as so those of you who follow me on Instagram know that I've been working on a grain-free, nut-free scallion pancake recipe. But those of you that also follow me know that I test things many, many, many times because I don't want to put up a recipe that doesn't work. And so I think I'm pretty close, right, Ollie? You've tried it many times. You're probably sick of it now because the first time you're like, delicious. And now you're like, I don't want to eat it anymore.
So, I actually think it's good, which
Cool.
is surprising for a gluten-free thing.
Yeah, Owen doesn't like things that are gluten-free because Owen doesn't actually have to be gluten-free. I just make him do it when we're at home because we're just eating whole, real foods.
I think he actually.
But Ollie
likes
has to.
it. I
Ollie,
think he actually
I think
likes it. He
I
just
would
doesn't want
actually-
to admit that he likes
I
it.
know, I'm sure I like it.
Gluten-free.
maybe. But like I tested on my parents who are really picky and they actually said it was super close. They just said I needed to add more green onion. And you have to eat it hot and you have to have it with strong tea to break up the oil.
And she's like, it's not salty enough. And you're like,
Whatever. Okay.
Pretty salty.
And so then I'm going to add fish sauce. Fish sauce is what makes it taste delicious and like Vietnamese food. And it adds umami, which is that indescribable deliciousness. And then I'm going to add some olive oil, but you can also use avocado oil
This is to put
and salt.
honey or orange juice.
Oh, yes. And so you just put a little bit of honey. When I say a teaspoon, I really do mean a teaspoon. If you're doing a Whole30, you can do a tablespoon of orange juice or even apple juice. But it's just like a little bit of sweetness. You don't want to go crazy with this. I know a lot of people are like, I like a sweet and savory sauce. But if you add too much, your chicken's going to burn. And this is not like a teriyaki type recipe. It is a Vietnamese lemongrass chicken recipe. All right, so you want to stir this all together?
Okay.
Vietnamese,
I don't really.
is Vietnamese your favorite cuisine?
Yes. Yes, I
honey.
love here. Yes, stir it together.
Come on. Do you know how to stir?
No.
Yeah, you do.
No, you never.
I love Vietnamese food. So I'm not Vietnamese. I wish I was. But I've been eating Vietnamese food ever since I was a kid. And I love it. And I've been to Vietnam and I think it's just, the food is just my favorite because it's a balance of salty, savory, tangy, sweet, and it has all these fresh herbs. There's contrasting textures. It's just my favorite. So
And
I love it.
what kind of honey did you use just now?
Oh, this is a organic raw honey. I don't, I'm not a big honey connoisseur, so
I like
it's
that.
not anything special. Okay, thank you. So there's nothing in this marinade that will kill you if you had it raw. But I just taste it to make sure it's really salty tasting. Because that is, I know you're like, oh no, it's too salty. No, it's perfect. You want it to be salty. You want your marinade to be salty. So it will it'll like soak in. And so then there's not a ton of marinade in here. And we're putting in, like eight chicken thighs or about 3.5 pounds of chicken. But it's okay. Like you're going to put this in here for like, an hour up to 24 hours. What I like to do is, it's really quick to throw together in the morning. Like if you had to go to work or school or, whatever, like quickly throw it together. And then you can cover it and stick it in the fridge. And then when you come home, you can just roast it. And I've had people say, can I make this in my Instant Pot? And I don't know. It won't be roast chicken. I mean, part of why this is so delicious is because it gets all roasty and delicious in the oven and the skin gets all crispy. I'm sure it'll still taste good in the Instant Pot, but it'll be a braised chicken. And the reason why this is so great is not, I don't think my Instant Pot version would have won Best Recipe of the Year. But that's just me. And so here, you saw that I'm like mixing it really well. So even though it doesn't seem like a ton of marinade, it's over every piece, right? I know you don't like this part.
He was like, he walked over to me and
he was like, I don't want.
This is hard to watch.
This is hard to watch. You gotta know, this is like food. This is real. Like,
I don't want to cook. I'll go out to eat every night.
all right.
We're gonna leave all of your
I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna wash my hands. Here, ask another question while I'm.
Okay. So could you use chicken breast for this recipe?
That's a great question. I get that question all the time. So, you could use chicken breast, but I would advise that you use skin-on, bone-in chicken breast, which is cheaper than the skinless, boneless chicken breast. And if you use this amazing ThermaPen Mark IV, you can ensure that you are not overcooking your chicken breast. So the problem with roasting chicken breast is it can totally dry out if you overcook it. And so I think if you look at if you look online for the correct cooking temperature, like they say 165 is like the safe temperature, but I really think for chicken breast 150 is the best temperature. And then you just stab it, and once it's 150, then you're good to go. Chicken thighs are way more forgiving. You just need the temperature between 165 and like 175, but it'll totally be cooked enough. And it's hard to overcook it. So I'm going to show you what I do. And you can pretend that this has been marinating for, 24 hours, but I love to roast my chicken on a rack in my rim baking sheet. And then I always use stainless steel wire racks because you can totally scrub them, throw them in the dishwasher, whereas the chrome ones, can flake and flake. This is much better. Okay, so I'm going to you just lay them skin side down. You preheat the oven to 400. Convection if you have it. Convection just means there's a fan that circulates the air so it cooks more evenly. If you don't have convection, just do 425. And also elevating it on this rack will also ensure that it cooks more evenly. So I want this all in a single layer. And so I'm going to roast it skin side down for 25 minutes. And then after the 25 minutes, I flip it skin side up.
Okay.
And this is the part where you just have to make sure everything is, and then you cook for another like 15 minutes or until it's nice and brown. But I'm going to put these back because we're going to put these.
And would this recipe work on the grill?
Yes. Totally.
Okay.
Totally. So I'm going to put that in the fridge. I'm going to put this away. I'm going to wash my hands again because they touched raw chicken again. And so ask me another question.
Have you ever used a lemongrass essential oil?
No. No. I don't cook with essential oils.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm not an expert on any of that stuff. And I don't get that stuff, so I just use actual lemongrass.
Why do you put it skin down?
You do it skin down, just so like kind of the meat part cooks, and then you flip it over halfway, because if you kept it skin side up the whole time, it would burn. The skin would burn before it cooked all the way through. So I always try to do skin side down, elevate it on a rack, and then I flip it skin side up, and then we roast it. And so, by the power of Facebook Live,
And by the way, people are very excited that Ollie is back on Facebook Live.
Yay!
For this week. It's pretty exciting.
No, Ollie was sick last week. All right, so let me grab 2, and then we'll cut it, and you guys can try it. Dun, dun, dun.
Let's see. Is Vietnamese? No, I asked that. What is the best way to clean a garlic press?
Here's the chicken. And I always serve this with lime wedges. And I'll show you how I cut those lime wedges. Dun, 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 dun. So you want the skin to be nice and brown. And again, if you are heavy-handed with honey, you have to watch it like a hawk because the honey and the sugar in it will make it burn faster. All right, so the way I cut my limes, as I've told you before, so this is the one that I zested earlier, and you can totally use this. I'm going to wipe this because there's all this lemongrass on it. And so the way I like to cut my limes is I cut it parallel to this kind of central core. And if you cut around it like this, you have all of this exposed surface area so that when you squeeze it, the lime juice comes out really easily. So you don't have to worry about massaging the limes.
Massage the lime.
Yes, all that stuff. All right, so I'm going to, and you can serve it with a ton of lime wedges because I think it tastes really good on top. I'm going to take one, I'm going to debone it really quick.
And the skin doesn't stick to the rack?
No. No, see? Oh, and that's something I'll show you guys too. So people are always like, how do you clean the rack? My rack is impossible to clean. And it is a little bit, but we're going to try this first. And so remember, anybody who's commenting, they're in the running for that. Can you grab that thermopin?
We're going to need to get a winner sometime soon, probably because of time. Someone, this is not super related, but someone's pork belly keeps on burning on the skin side. So should you do a skin side down for half of the time?
Which recipe is this?
Probably like the thing that like Mama makes.
The tasu?
No,
I mean the suyok.
Yeah, the suyok.
So the suyok, actually, it's okay if it gets burned because you have to scrape off. Like in my recipe, I actually talk about how you scrape off the burn parts. Like it is actually something that's what Cantonese chefs do. Is they kind of like burn it.
You set it on fire.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna move these to another plate, and then I'll show you what I do with this because this is like a gross looking rack. They're not that hot. All right, so this rack is super gross, right? And so I'm going to flip it like this so that it's like down inside the pan. And then I have my dishwashing detergent in here. And I like to put it in these little squeeze bottles because you can do this. And I buy like the Costco size. And then I soak it in hot water. And I make sure I do this while we are eating dinner so that by the time I'm done eating dinner, you should be able to kind of scrub stuff off pretty easily. And once I scrub all that stuff off, I put it inside the dishwasher. All right, here. You wanna try
a few other things. Is this recipe in the cookbook? And what do you serve this with?
Here, try a piece of chicken. This is only on the blog. And you can serve it with cauliflower rice, stir-fried vegetables. I have some stir-fried bok choy that we're going to have later, roasted broccoli. I mean, people always ask me, like, what do you serve it with? I'm like, just vegetables. Whatever vegetables you want, you can have it with a salad. Good. I know, it's a big chicken, right?
So should we get winners?
Oh, yes. So Lauren is going to get 3 winners of the Thermapen Mark IV. The coolest and best instant read thermometer on the market. Like I joke that it's like the Tesla of all, instant read thermometers. Because it really is amazing. And it's not just me. Like Serious Eats says it's the best instant read thermometer. Cooks Illustrated says it's the best instant read thermometer. Like all the people that matter say it's the best one. And I know it's kind of pricey, and so that's why 3 of you.
That's why it's like the Tesla.
Yeah, here. It actually tastes good with a little lime. Here.
And what is
Come on, you don't like lime, but here. Oh, and here, have some with lime.
Oh yeah, more. So what is the Thermapen that is slightly cheaper than the Mark IV?
Oh, okay. There's the classic Thermapen, which is also pretty good.
It's like a Camry.
Yeah, Camry. And then they have a Thermopop, which is also great. But that one is like $29. So that's like one of the best deals.
So it's like a Corolla.
Yeah, it's like a Corolla, maybe.
And yeah, it's like a Corolla or a Honda Fit.
You want some more chicken?
No, I'm good. Oh, I should have said yes.
I can cut more chicken. We have a lot of chicken left. Okay, so I think Lauren is still picking winners. Are there any other questions about the recipe or?
Let's see.
So no Facebook Live next week. If you are in the New England area, please come to my signings. I know the weather is not great, and hopefully I'll be able to drive through.
Don't die.
I know, I'm actually really kind of nervous about it because I'm from California. I'm not used to snow or anything like that. But my friends who live there assure me that it all gets plowed away and I'll be totally okay. I don't know. I mean, I've allotted myself lots of time.
You have an all-wheel drive car, but that's...
I know, I did book like a SUV.
Let's see. We don't have winners yet.
So please RSVP if you are going to the signings because I'll be bringing tons of swag to the events. And I hope that I have enough for everybody. I'll be giving away calendars and action figures and socks and stickers. And if you let me know if you're coming, then I can hopefully have enough. But again, it is while supplies last. And so...
Anyways, we do have winners.
Oh, yay!
For the Thermapen, we have Kelly Nest, Lisa Williams, Del Vecchio, sorry. I can't pronounce anybody's name, and Randy Boring.
Yay! All right, so make sure Lauren is probably going to message you guys, and if not, you can also proactively message me, just, the Nom Nom Paleo Facebook page with your address and the color that you want, and we will have this shipped to you. So thank you for tuning in. I won't be here next week because I'll be traveling. I'm sorry, I know. I'm going to be so sad that I'm going to be gone, but I'll be here the following week, and you guys should cook this just to, say, oh, she's not here this week. We should cook her chicken. So that's it. Bye, guys. See you in 2 weeks.